Welcome back. So it's time now to make progress in our conversation, and we're moving away from politics and administrative governance to looking at developments in education, in a specific field in education to be precise, which is science, technology, engineering, mathematics. If the future economy of the world will be powered by STEM, how is Nigeria preparing for that knowledge-driven economy? All right, so joining us to have this conversation this morning, we have Dr. Chukwuma Ogbonnaya, who is...
That will be in the next segment, Bukola. Now we have Mr. Sinari Daranijo. Thank you for teasing us, Bukola. We'll definitely look forward to that conversation. Mr. Sinari Daranijo is the Group CEO, Symbol Group, and a board member of the Lagos State Employment Trust Fund. And yes, it's sort of the next level after education, and that's about entrepreneurship, mindset change, ensuring that Nigerian youths really show that powerful force which they are for transformation, innovation, and development. But I'll start with this. I'll backtrack a bit. There are a lot of young people who see the system has really pitched against them, right? So they go through all of the rites of passage, go to school, do all of the things you tell them to do, and they leave all of those, institutions, and they say adulthood is a scam because things don't seem to be working for them. But you've had to deal with a lot of young people in terms of mindset change, help them position themselves well to make that change they want to change. So what would you say is the first critical thing to note for young Nigerians who want to make a change that they think, hey, the system is not working for us?
Good morning, guys. Apparently, I'll start by saying that anyone below 35 should not be looking at their physical environment. They should, they have the internet, they have the platform that will take them international. So right now, everything you've learned in university, you put in your back pocket, and you have to skill yourself, find short courses to skill yourself up, and find a way to, get on the world platform. There's so many opportunities for them now.
So let me just be clear. Can everybody make it? Can everybody make it?
Well, it won't be everybody, but it'll be a good chunk of the volume. We have those who can do physical work. The people who, a lot of people didn't find where they started doing Uber. They started, you just have to find some kind of self-help, entrepreneurship, a way to fit into the system.
Or let me tweak it a bit, pardon me. Will everyone who employs this, these steps, sort of, will they make it? I think that's a better way to put it. If you follow those steps and do those things, will you make it in that sense?
I don't know what you mean by that word, make it, because
that's why I put it in.
Have you made it?
So a lot of people see making it as first being able to fend for yourself.
Yes.
Having enough money to feed, pay for your rent, basically just live a comfortable life.
I think a lot of young people are getting onto that platform. There's so much going on online for them, and they can upskill. I think you should be able to get to that level if you follow those paths. I won't be able to give you a percentage, but for everyone who strives, they would achieve.
So let's do more like an example or a simulation, if you will.
Yes.
So pick a particular natural gift, because we're here to help the young people.
Yeah.
Think of a gift and see how you can simulate in such a way, say, these are the things you should be looking out to do that aligns with your gift that you can scale eventually. So
right now, your mindset matters. Your entrepreneurship mindset is what kicks in at this time. They probably know the percentage of jobs available are not going to help all the young people. So you're going to look at your talent. We have people who are going into acting, people who are going into, there's so IT, tech, everything is tech driven now. So you must have an affiliation to tech to survive in today's world. So for every new person, even employees, to solve problems now, you have to go on technology platform. So whatever you've done, whatever you've read, you must be tech savvy.
So does
even
it mean
Ubers are driven by tech. Yes. Delivery vehicles are driven by tech. Our vehicles, everything is driven by tech.
So does it mean that if you don't understand technology, or the system is already rigged against you? Is that what you're saying?
Kind of at this time here, but it's very easy because a lot of them. You can sell anything online. You can sell clothes, you can sell hair, you can sell shoes. There's so many things that people are doing.
So besides, not everybody can be an actress, and not everybody can be, an
entrepreneur.
An entrepreneur.
Yes.
But Besides that, what are the leading skills that people are not necessarily paying attention to, but are also paying, from your training experience?
Seriously, I'm going back to tech. Today's skills must be tech-enabled, except you want to do manual labor. You want to be a construction person, sales and marketing, communications, and things that, you can sell a lot. The property sales market today has over God knows how many thousands of young people who are just sales agents. So you must have good communication skills. You must also be able to interact. So if you're looking at work, what's the percentage of jobs that are available today from the Connect? So if you're talented, you have to use your talents. If you just have to find a way, because at this time there's no help. It's self-help time.
A little bit of an advisory. We just spoke to the local government chairman, and when you look at the way politicians process development, it's interesting, and I guess it's the way we assess and score them. So if, for instance, they develop intangible things like school curriculum or send people will not say, but when they build roads and build bridges and build all of those, they say, oh, he was a great guy, he did a great job. So if you were to advise, say, a local government chairman, so let's get back to that conversation we had just before we brought you in, and you were to advise them on where to deploy money to get the critical mass in terms of capacity to be able to cause revolutionary development within their circle and within their spaces, what will it be?
First, I would say that, the prosperity of a nation, of an environment, is based on the sum total of all our individual prosperities. So we need to invest in human capital, in the human being more. But then, even they need to have infrastructure. The different levels. Infrastructure must come with education. If you are educated and you're ready to drive, the infrastructure will be available for you to deploy and maximize your potential. So for the local government chairman, yes, they're doing what they're doing. They really just need to provide infrastructure for the people to thrive. That's really what government should do. And that also includes, obviously, investing in all the areas: health, education, construction, roads, water, electricity, all the basics.
So no direct intervention in some sort of, if you will.
They have to spread it. They cannot just say, hey, we're going to do human capital alone and there'll be no roads to take your potato or your tomato when you finish growing it.
Sometimes it feels like swimming against the tide. Really. There's just a lot happening at the same time, and you're trying to figure out, are they for me or against me? And I want to speak for a lot of young Nigerians out there. So you want to start a business. Let's say you want to start a barbing salon, for example. So you rent a shop. You know how much it is to rent a shop. Let's say you rent a shop for #1 million. Let's put it mildly in some areas, or less. And then you have to, put all of the things. You have a cutlet, right? You put a chair and all. I'm coming. And then the moment you start, the local government officials come and say you have to pay television tax, you have to pay this tax, that tax, and all of that. And you're like, I've not even started this business yet. So when Jeffrey says, the thinking of governance yet again, does it really align? And I want you to speak directly to these issues, because these are the tides that mitigate against the success of young people. You start a business and then you're burdened by all of these bottlenecks.
Okay, so before I go to government, if I was going to do anything
I saw that coming.
Yeah, that's it. I always have to tell you, because my mindset has lifted above all that.
Right.
If I'm going to do barbing, for instance, seriously, I'm going to put together data. I'm going to look at family and friends, and I'm going to go to their houses to cut the hair out first. Today, you don't set up a shop to sell clothes. Why invest 5 million naira with a 50,000 working capital? You shouldn't expose yourself to the government people. They're doing their work. They have revenue to collect. You must remember that. They need to develop the country. So those don't think they have their role. So they must come and collect those things from you. There are things that you must factor into your entire business. So if you're not ready to set up shop, you can still make money before setting up shop. So we must balance these things.
No, the reason why we're picking...
Government may begin to look at that space as well, that digital space for tax collection.
No, they are already looking at it. Lagos, for instance, remote work.
So is it something that, the entrepreneurs on that space should also be preparing for?
I don't think government can directly impact on you at that point. It's what you It's what how shall I say it? It's what you present to government that government works on. So you are still your own person. And like I was telling, I mean, at one point, the shift started for jobs in the UK, and people started applying for jobs as businesses. You know what that means? You set up an enterprise and you apply. It's your skill. You are the staff, but you're going to go. Why are you doing that? Okay. Why are you doing that? Because you want to reduce tax. You must first run your expenses before you declare what is left to be taxed. But if you go straight for the job, the direct income is taxed raw. But if you go as an enterprise, you have to run your expenses first before you pay tax.
So in that space, you've been talking a lot about tech communication skills. How well paying is it? And, what is the setting out for those who are looking to explore that space?
So right now, there's an immediate drive in the world for artificial intelligence knowledge, how to apply AI skills to every part of business, to your marketing, to your real estate, to climate change. There's so much information to be derived by young people. At this point, I think Nigeria, it is called future-ready skills for the future-ready workforce. The future-ready workforce must acquire these skills now, and we can actually put 1 million or more people on that platform in the next 1 year.
My curiosity, you've mentioned something that's I just remembered now. It means that, or don't you think, so let me put a question to you. Don't you think it's time for us to look at our curriculum again? Definitely. Is that not fundamental to whatever it is that we're all aspiring for as a collective?
The commissioners for education, the people in the education sector should understand that things have changed. And we cannot continue to do things in the old way that will never lead us to jobs. The future of work is being able to, like you said, fend for yourself after you leave school. Why go to university for 4 years and you only have to do a 2-month course to earn money? So today, all you need is a 3-month certification and you start earning money. And then you can earn money on the world platform, which means anywhere in the world. For instance, there's some countries in the world now that require certain skills. I mean, people say we shouldn't encourage JAPA, but JAPA is going to help our economy in the future. We have a large percentage of young people. 70% of Nigeria's population is below 35. So we're looking at a situation where we want to skill them up in the current skills that the world needs. There's some skill gaps in a lot of countries in the world that Nigerians can first build their skills and then either offer the service by sitting here or go out there to do it. And the more we get young people running services from Nigeria for foreign countries, the more our economy grows intrinsically. And this will have nothing to do with a local government chairman or all those things that you're saying. We have to get to that point where we have to rise above our physical environment.
So you've talked also, about self-help, and in that regard, I'd like to ask, because there's always been this age-long talk about the disconnect between the town and the gown. So are our institutions prepared for, the future of the economy that is powered by skills development and entrepreneurship? And if there's a missing link, how should they begin to position for this next level?
I think first there has to be a strong handshake between private and public sector, and there has to be a lot of awareness in place. I think the curriculum should be changed completely at this point. In fact, you don't need 4 years of education to get to start, because really the future of life is making money. So after you get all your masters and your PhDs, you want to be able to feed your family. You want to be able to pay your bills. So our main focus in life is to be able to pay our bills, isn't it? So we must train people with skills that will enable them get jobs.
Shouldn't we be careful, not to just jettison education? Because there's a lot of talk. I'd rather read a book than go to school.
So the point with that is that there are a lot of factors that you need to build. As we said, think about it. In our growing up, how many of your first-class students are the best people in the real world? So all that book, they came first in class, they taught all of us to pass, and the ones that we came out with B's and C's, and then who is running the economy now? So you need more skills than just reading to be able to survive in today's world. And things have really changed. We need to be aware that things have changed.
Yeah, and the new Minister of Education seems to be preparing for that with the announcement of the new curriculum that will be powered by skills in 2025.
I saw that. He needs to. I mean, they need to do. He has to be a drastic change because the world will not wait for us. And luckily, we have a fast-growing youth population that will easily key to that. I mean, you see how 2-year-olds handle telephones. It's not like our 2-year-old. A 2-year-old will look at it and before you know it, they are started. So they are born with the tech savvy skills. So what they need to do is to enhance it, grow them, and we throw them to the world. We need to work over this economy. We should stop thinking of what's going on physically. We need to look at the world.
And I think that takes me to the next question naturally. So you said earlier on that, well, naturally, the purpose of life, to the largest extent, is pay your bills, right? Life will not make sense if you can't pay your bills. But some will say, well, that is secondary. Primarily is you finding what they call your purpose, doing what you're made for, doing basically, and you do it so much that you get paid for it.
Yes,
that comes naturally. But what you find a lot of times is people go to school not to study what they really want to study, just go to school, study anything. They tell you, get a certificate, and they come out, they're frustrated because they're like a round peg in a square hole. So they are struggling to fit, or a square peg in a round hole, they're struggling to fit. So again, in terms of retooling our education, is there a way we can help people first discover who they are, who you really are? Some people don't have any business being doctors. You see them ending up doing content. Fine, they can be medical content creators, but you know, some people don't have businesses studying what they studied.
So basically, that's a major area that we're looking at as a business as well. First, people don't even realize who they are or what they're good at. So one of the main, but the way our education system goes does not allow you to even bring out that talent that you have. If you look at other countries like China, Japan, all those people, you're going to school is not just learning ABC and 1, 2, 3. It also shows skills. All your skills. By the time you are age 5, 6, 7, they can see that this is a good orator. This is a good. This would be a great engineer because he's always doing things you would know. But here, there's no space for that. So really, I'm going back to my self-help. Just the individual has to find a way, and a lot of us can help. We don't have to be mentors to the young people. We don't have to talk to them and then show them. I mean, let us identify their skills and help them. It's a major part of our business going forward. We're thinking of doing a lot of that talent development, skills identification, and then directing people to the right path.
So what are the challenges you've been seeing because there's on one hand, there's the element of seeing that there's a challenge with the young people and the young population. What pushback do you get for the people you've interacted with? What are the excuses they are given?
Obviously, one of it is financial. Everybody thinks it's money before work, or they need to invest and all that before they move. I tell people my mindset has always been zero to cash. Also, they talk about government, they talk about the current environment, that there's a lot of issues, like what you're saying. You're thinking of a business and you're already thinking of local government coming to tax you and all that, because you have to start first. So young people already, I don't know, from my own, what I see, a lot of young people already know that they have to lift above this environment. Everybody is building their talents, but anything you build from any angle, you must attach tech to it to lift you up.
So what does Nigeria need, in your view, right now?
We need infrastructure. We need the government to ensure that they give us enough, internet access. We need to change our education curricula, and we need to do a lot of speaking to the youth. I do a lot of speaking engagements. Mindset change is important. You need to let them know. You don't want people, because these kids these days, they easily get into depression, and they're telling you we need to strengthen them. We need to tell them that, look, the future is still bright. And
the reason, my apologies, the reason I asked that question, so that you can give us an overview, is the fact that, which is where we started from, where these young people just see a young person who perhaps didn't even go to school, but maybe he's a thug, or he has a way of being violent, or he commands the street, ends up in government, and the man who went to school is the one protecting him or serving him one way or the other. They've seen people just by, what's that word again? Gaming the system, are able to be quote-unquote successful, and you're telling them to look above the environment and How do you convince that kind of young person?
So, you didn't hear what I really said. I actually recognize what you just said now, which means that the guy who can make the most noise or break the most bottles will be the one that will be the local government chairman. But at the end of the day, if that's not your forte, you cannot go there. But what we need to do is to get more interested in governance. A lot of us are not interested in governance. When it's time to vote, they don't go and vote. Like you were just saying to the local government chairman, you need to go in there and ask them questions. We don't ask them questions. There's a lot of awareness that needs to be done. People have to actually understand their rights. I've seen people being stopped on the road by officials and they tell them they're doing something that they have to pay so much. The fine for that offense is probably 2,000 naira. And some guy is telling you that you must pay 20,000 or 50,000. You're looking because you don't have information. So we need to be more aware of our environment. We need to know the laws and the rules that govern us. It's so important.
And in getting knowledge about rights, education is still critical.
Education is very
because
important.
native intelligence can be overrated when you say that, we need people who can identify with the people at the grassroots, who can relate with the community to also get involved. They need education in order to be aware of their rights, we
cannot zero out education, but it's just the type of education. And the curricula that you put in place to ensure that.
Now, talk to us about inclusion in the tech space, online or offline, because in relating with a lot of physically challenged people, there is a challenge with them also having skills, but having the requisite, the access to the requisite markets, to scale their businesses or to even be able to get heard in the first place. So how can even the online space be more inclusive for physically challenged people to be able to, get ahead?
I'll say, let's look at the online space, for instance. We're talking about a physically challenged person is going on the internet as showing and displaying his own skills. So I don't see how you would even know that the person is challenged when they are advertising their goods. All they need to do is to have other people match them and build a community. But for work, I think there has to be more awareness in engaging all those people. I mean, I have a business and we ensure that we have a percentage that we actually employ. We have a call center, we pick up calls. We pick up calls and we make outbound calls for businesses and government. And we ensure that we get physically challenged people in our workforce as well. So it's really education and awareness. There's so much that the average Nigerian do not know. Even culturally, we have a lot of cultural discrepancies. There's so much wrong. But I think that if the government focuses on educating people en masse, and also every one of us in our sphere of influence, we will improve the environment.
Well, we hope that young people are taking note of this. Clearly, there's a lot more you can do if you really venture out there, take some of these tools. It's like the opportunities have been democratized now. It's not about who you know, it's not man know who, it's democratized. So it's left to you to take a hold of your future. But we have to thank you so much, sir, for at least charging young people today. We've been speaking with the Group CEO of Symbol Group, board member, LSCTF. He said earlier on that if you use these steps, there's a likelihood you'll make it in life. Mr. Sinari Daranija, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
We'll take a moment now, and when we return, that conversation Bukola teased is next. STEM. What is STEM about? How is it able to transform our reality as a nation and as a people? That's the moment. Stay with us.